G'day everyone, welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark, and in this video I'm asking the question, can this Wallabies squad that's been announced by Joe Schmidt beat the BOKS in just over a week's time in South Africa? Well, first of all, we're going to do two things in this video. We're going to have a look at the squad that Joe Schmidt has selected for the 2025 Rugby Championship. Then we're going to have a look at the team that I've put together that I think will take on the BOKS at Ellis Park in Johannesburg next weekend. So let's get into the video right now. So the good news for Joe Schmidt is he's starting to get to that stage of this team's evolution where it looks fairly standardized to those that have been watching the Wallabies over the last couple of seasons, and that's good news for him because he can get some continuity going. We've got three uncapped players coming into the squad, and I'll talk about those when we get there, but let's have a look at the forwards first of all. We've got Bell, who has been playing superbly, I think, in 2025. De Krepny, I was encouraged by his performance when he came on the field against the Lions. I think he's got something to give to this Aussie team going forward. Frost, of course, had a great series against the Lions. Gleeson did as well. Tom Hooper came on and played very well. I made mention of that in my video in the third test review. Fraser McWright, Nasser's come in as well. Nongor, a little bit weak, I think, in terms of coming off the bench. Same with Amosa, got to get his throw into the lineouts right. Robertson, I think, cost the Wallabies a little bit in the second test match against the Lions. Then we've got Ross, who's going to be making his debut. Solokai Lotto, now this is a big one for the Wallabies. He's played fantastically against the Lions. I'm not too sure why he wasn't in the third test team, but so expect to see Solokai Lotto throughout the Rugby Championship, a very, very good player indeed. Then we've got Will Skelton, which is great news for the Wallabies. He's been able to play in the Championship and being released from La Rochelle in France. James Slipper, of course, just keeps on racking up the caps for the Wallabies. Tizano, who had that incident against Jack Morgan and who was sat out for the third test match. Tupou, who won't be playing in the first test match or available. His father unfortunately died in Tonga. He's going to go back for the funeral during that weekend, so Taniela Tupou will not be available for selection for the Wallabies in the first test at Ellis Park, and that's going to be a big blow for the Wallabies. Valentini's in there, of course, Jeremy Williams and Harry Wilson. That's 20 forwards that have been selected for the Rugby Championship. I'm very impressed. I think this team's got a lot of potential, but will they be able to put it on the field against the BOKS? We'll get to that in just a minute. Now let's have a look at the backs that have been selected in the squad for the Rugby Championship. We've got Donaldson, question mark, asterisk. Not a huge fan of Donaldson. Edmund's in there. This is a great opportunity for him. Fluke is back in the squad, which is a good thing to see. He's got rid of his injuries at long last. Ikitau, of course. Jorgensen played brilliantly against the Lions. Callaway came off the bench and did okay. Lonergan, he's a halfback that's come into the squad. He plays out of Canberra, and he'll be making his debut when he gets a chance for this Wallabies team. Expect to see some good things from him. Tate McDermott, we saw him playing brilliantly, I thought, against the Lions. O'Connor's in there, all that experience. Will Joe Schmidt finally use him? Hunter Pasami's back after some injuries. Dylan Pearch, who went brilliantly, I thought, against the Lions. Joseph Sua Ali is in the squad. Corey Toole, who's a winger and a fantastic winger. Let's hope he gets an opportunity. He's going to be on debut when he gets selected for the Wallabies on this Rugby Championship. And Nick White is back, folks. Everybody will be looking forward to seeing Nick White run out on the field and give a bit of cheek to the respective teams and referees, I'm sure. And Tom Wright is the last one in the squad there for the Wallabies. Okay, so before I give you my team that I think will start against the BOKS at Ellis Park next weekend, let's go through the injury list before the Wallabies because it's quite extensive. So the likes of Alalatoa is out, DeLutis is out, Matty Facey is out, which is a big knock for them. Jake Gordon, the halfback's out, Lolasio's out, Liner's out, Harry Potter's out, and Reema's out. So some big names in there for the injured for the Wallabies, and this is going to really hurt them, particularly around number 10, missing Lolasio and Tom Liner, who are probably their best number 10s in Australia at the moment. That's going to hurt them enormously when it comes to their Rugby Championship campaign. Now, we don't know if Valentini's going to be right for that first game against the BOKS at Ellis Park because of that calf injury that he's got. When it comes to my team that I'm going to show you now that I think Joe Schmidt will pick for that first game, I have included Valentini. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that calf injury is going to be okay to go, and he's had some time to get it sorted out with not playing against the Lions in the third test and only doing 40 minutes in the second test. So hopefully he's going to be good to go because the Wallabies are really going to need him. So let's have a look at the team that I've selected that I think Joe Schmidt will pick to play the BOKS at Ellis Park. Starting off in the forwards, and I think the front row is going to be James Slipper, Pollard and Robertson. I think that's going to be the front row. So I think that Matty Faisler and also Alan Alalato are going to be hugely missed from this Wallaby front row, and I think this is where the BOKS are going to give the Wallabies a lot of trouble in that set piece up front. And then in the locks, I think we're going to see Nick Frost and Will Skelton again. I think they did fantastically well. Nick Frost was outstanding, wasn't he, in that third test against the Lions? His line out balls wins were really good. He was good around the field as well. Rated him very high. I think I gave him a 9 out of 10 for his performance. And Will Skelton, well, he was in the face of everybody during that Lions third test match and just showed how much he brings to this Wallabies team. So going to be very good that those two guys are going to start, I think, this game at Ellis Park. And then the back three, I've got Rob Valentini, Fraser McWright and Harry Wilson. I think that's going to be a pretty solid back three for the Wallabies in that game. Harry Wilson, the captain of this Wallaby team. So there you go, that's the forwards I've selected for this game. And now let's have a look at the backs. Okay, looking at the backs now that I would pick to play the BOKS at Ellis Park for the Wallabies from this squad, and I would be starting Tate McDermott. I thought we saw enough good stuff from him during the Lions series that he has to start for the Wallabies, and in particular because their weakness in number 10, I think a lot of reliance is going to go on Tate McDermott in this particular game. Outside of him, I would put in Tane Edmed to start against the Springboks. I know it's a huge call, he's inexperienced, but I just like him a lot better than I like Ben Donaldson, so that's why I would pick Tane Edmed in there at number 10. I think Joe Schmidt's going to go with Ben Donaldson though, and unfortunately that could be a real letdown for the Wallabies. And then outside we're going to see Ikitau and Sualali again for sure, no question about it, in the midfield. And then on the wings, Dylan Peach did enough for me against the Lions in that third test, scored that good try, looked big and ominous in the wing, and I think I'd definitely put him in there to partner up with Max Jorgensen, who has to be in this Wallabies team, and Tom Wright at number 15. So quite a lot of positions are getting settled now within this Wallabies team. They just need the opportunity to go up against these top teams in World Rugby and see how they do. And as I've mentioned in my previous video, I think Joe Schmidt's going to be using these two games in South Africa as a really good benchmarking exercise to see how the Wallabies are this year versus the Springboks in the Rugby Championship. So there you go, there's my team that I would pick to start the game. Have a look at the bench here. As we would normally see, Angus Bell I think will come off the bench for the Wallabies. We'll also see Jeremy Williams coming off. Thought he did well against the Lions along with Lange Gleeson. And in the backs we're going to have Nick White. I'm sure we're going to see Nick White come on the field to give a lot of cheek to the Springboks and also to the referee in the back end of that first test match. And then we're going to see Ben Donaldson, I think, and along with Andrew Callaway. So that's the bench that I would put forward for the first. So where are the problems for the Wallabies in this team and in this squad? Well, Taniela Tupou missing from the first test in Ellis Park is a huge loss for the Wallabies. We saw how well he did in the third test match, changed the scrumming around, got the penalties for Australia. That's going to be a massive loss for them in that first test match at Ellis Park. The other one is the number 10 position for the Australian. Huge weakness here for them. I think their Springboks are going to take huge advantage of this. So watch for the Springboks loose forwards running the inside channels. Also the backs having a field day up through the middle of the park. And this is going to be a big time problem for the Wallabies. Now I'm going to make a preview video before the game next week. So I'll save all of my detailed analysis for that particular video. This one's just to give you the name of the squad the Wallabies have got for the Rugby Championships and some thoughts I've got around what team I would select from the choices that Joe Schmidt has available for this particular team. So there we go, that's the Wallabies squad that's been named. Unfortunately, they're missing some key players through injury. They're going to miss Taniela Tupou from Ellis Park next weekend. He should be back for the second game in Cape Town. Fingers crossed for that. Will that be the one the Wallabies really target to try and get a win against the Springboks? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you're an Aussie fan, what do you think of this squad? What do you think of the team I named? Do you think we'll be far away from the mark on this one for Ellis Park? Or have you got some sleepers in there that you'd like to see included in Joe Schmidt's team? Love to hear your views and opinions in the comments. So there we go, everyone, another video in my series to the build-up of the Rugby Championship this year. The Australian Wallabies squad has been named. I've put out my team there. Let's see how that all pans out next week. And once both teams have been named, then I will come back and give you my thoughts around that and look at how I think that first test is going to go at Ellis Park next weekend. That's it for this video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter or X. The link to that is in the description of this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, shame on you. Press that button now, it doesn't cost you anything. And I'll see you again really soon with some more videos associated with this year's Rugby Championship. It's getting closer and closer, folks. Time to say adios from beautiful Cancun in Mexico. I'll see you all again very soon. Until then, stay safe, stay well, keep enjoying your rugby across the world. Adios from Mark. Bye for now.